Welcome to Apartment Syndication Made Easy podcast, where we simplify the world of syndication. Join us as we unravel the complexities and provide you with valuable insights to help you invest smartly. Get ready to take your investments to the next level, one episode at a time. Here's your host, Mr. Vinney Smiles Chopra.
Hi guys, I'm here in my backyard with Derek Clifford, a great friend, and also who was in the academy and all, and just crushing it. And the exciting part is that we're going to discuss some things today, and he's a nomad. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You could do this business from anywhere in the world. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no. We're so just to add on that. Right now, I'm still in Japan. I've been in Japan since April, actually, since late March, and we have another 3 weeks left here. And it's been amazing because every year we go and do something where we're gone for 3, 4, 5 months, and then we come back to our home base in the United States or a home base in the United States. And then use that as like a jumping off point for us to travel more within the US. But basically, I think the reason that we're having this call is because I've been able to set up all of these systems and processes so that I could do it, right? So that I have the ability to do all this travel and continue to run our portfolio. I think, just to give a high overview of what that looks like is we have a very small team. It's me and my virtual assistant and then my wife. And being able to have such a small team, it makes it easy on the people side to make the connections and have the conversations. So we have a lot of processes and SOPs that we're currently in the middle of overhauling, actually. And we're also maybe switching over from Asana to Notion, which is going to be a big project. And so there's a lot of...
Can I ask you why you're going away from Asana, which is a great program, to Notion, which is a new... I didn't think about it, before.
Yes. So Notion has always been around. And I love Asana because it's simple and very easy for everyone to use. It's very easy to get started. Notion is completely customizable and has some extra features that Notion doesn't have. That Asana doesn't have, like a timeline view or being able to create templates of projects to be able to use over and over again. And so you can modify templates and you can do all types of things. Asana can do it too, but it gets very costly if you have a big team because it's it can cost thousands of dollars a year if you have a bigger team. And so obviously we're always looking to be cost conscious with some of our tools.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that Notion is very powerful. It's very configurable, and you can use it to run other parts of your business and even your personal life. And it has AI integrated directly into it, so it's very easy to be able to use AI. Where
I'm using ChatGPT to the hilt. Literally.
Yes, you should. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm actually excited about BARD because BARD is Google's component, or is Google's
AI
answer to ChatGPT. Yes.
Oh, really? BARD, BARD?
Yes, BARD. I would suggest using or trying out BARD just because it is similar to ChatGPT, except Google has pretty much an unfair advantage over ChatGPT. Because unless you have the ChatGPT plugin that allows the live data feed to come in from the internet, like there's no way that ChatGPT will be able to summarize or look at a specific article that was launched, a day ago or 2 days ago. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
oh my God.
But BARD will indeed search the internet, and it's all live. So not only is it looking through everything that's on the internet in Google, through Google searches, it's also searching through YouTube and transcriptions of all the YouTube videos that are out there, and everything that's in the Google umbrella. So I found that BARD does a good job too. And here's also another tip or trick for you and for your students.
Yes.
If there's anything online, I haven't tried this with Google Docs yet. Like if you have a Google document that you have stored in your drive, if there's anything online that has a link, you can actually drop the link of an article or anything you want into Bard and then say, hey, summarize the information at this link for me. And it will do that for you.
Wow. Oh
So
my
it can go
gosh.
directly into the links. Whereas I don't think that ChatGPT has that power yet. I haven't tried it yet, but I don't think that it does that. So
And I think there
yes,
was a upgraded version of ChatGPT, which took close to, I think, 6 months back or something. I was heard before it
yes.
was 2021. Then they, added more. Microsoft. So it's a battle between Google and Microsoft.
It
What I see.
is. Absolutely. Yeah. And so Bard is pretty powerful. It also, one last thing I think that it does that ChatGPT doesn't do unless there's a plugin for it,
Mm.
is it will generate images for you. So
Oh
you ask it
wow.
to generate a stock image right directly in the prompt for something, and it will go ahead and spit something out along with a text answer.
Oh wow, wow, yeah. I know ChatGPT, you could write poems and other things, and of course you could do images. I don't know if it has to be by itself images, but this one you're saying within the document, which is amazing. Yeah. So
Yes,
you're
yes.
pretty happy with it then. Is it a subscription base or is it free at this time? Bard.
Bard is going to be free. Yeah, it's
Oh.
always free.
Yeah,
Yes,
like YouTube is free. I mean, they want to
correct.
sell the YouTube. Okay, no, that's exciting. So tell me
Yes.
more. I mean, I'm so intrigued with your systems, and you have been a systems person. And I love that, because it's always good to have systems. And I believe in automations and everything to save time and energy and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason that we have systems is I've found that if you want to produce something that is repeatable over a long period of time and sustainable,
Mhm.
you can put systems in to help stand in for you. And
Yep.
by systems, it just means a bunch of automations, things that we do with our podcast that allows us to, you know, we enter in one piece of information, which is the guest comes in. This is just an example, right? The guest fills out a Google form for our podcast. And
Mhm.
inside the Google form, there's a bunch of questions in there that's like, what's your bio? Please provide your headshot. What's your social media information so we can feature them? A bunch of information like that. As soon as that
Mhm.
information's entered, I'm using a native integration between Google Forms and Google Sheets. And so when they enter that and submit the info, it gets all of those answers get recorded into a spreadsheet. Then I have a Zap running or Zapier running in the
Mhm.
background where as soon as someone enters something in
Yeah.
there, it goes into another spreadsheet that then has an AI ready component through Zapier that as soon as the bio goes in, I have an AI with a prompt that says, take this bio, right? And, compress it down to 150 words
I see.
and spin it from an angle of the 3 degrees of freedom, which is our podcast, which is time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom,
Yeah.
and formulate 7 to 10 potential questions that I can ask this guest based on their bio and who they are as a person, right? And
Wow.
then
Hmm.
I have it spit out that information inside the spreadsheet. So I really, for preparation, I don't have to spend my time to go and prepare questions because it will provide questions and a re-summarized bio for me to read. And it's been good every time because it's just a matter of changing the prompt. Now, that's just one example of workflow where you can remove yourself or your team from the equation by using intelligent ways, right? To put
Mhm.
that in. Other examples that we have is we have an automated asset management tracker that my virtual assistant, once the financial statements come in from the property manager,
Mhm.
he takes all of the property financial info and pastes them into one tab in a spreadsheet that's the same every time for all of the properties. And then it automatically spits out a P&L and a forecast on the asset management side for me. So
Mhm.
because I have that system set up, I have one person, one VA that's able to
Mhm.
do all my podcast work, that's able to do all of my asset management setup or all of the legwork for the asset management setup. So that way, when I'm ready to do my work, all I need is 5 minutes before I sit down with the property managers every 2 weeks, just to sit down
Wow.
and look at the data and say, are we off trend or are we on trend? Because it's automatically tuned to pulling all that data from all the units, right? From all the transactions, and using that to find out what are the KPIs that we're trying to track. And so that's all kind of automated at this point. So that way you don't have to have someone doing the same thing over and over again. And here's why I do this. Not only is it one, the fact that you can eliminate your headcount, that's always a great thing. So you don't have to grow in headcount. You can just grow in processes. The second thing is that it's very reliable. And the third thing is that you don't have to drag down your staff with repetitive tasks, because I found that really good people, they're going to want to stay for creative, interesting tasks. And the people that I've hired before for, tasks that repeat over and over again, for, that doesn't seem to add too much value, they start to lose steam and they don't really, I don't know, it's important to you, but not important to them if they're doing the same thing over and over again. So if you can add a process or enable them to create a process to automate that for themselves, then all of a sudden their job becomes more one of creation and one of creativity instead of doing repeat things over and over again. So I'm always looking at ways to empower the people that work with us and work for us, and identify places for where processes can be put in place.
That's amazing. That's totally amazing. Can I take you back to then? Have you been able to perfect or put systems as you find the target areas? Now, are there some systems to get some properties off market or something and then drop it into it so that it can, kind of share with me any kind of...
I've been thinking about this a lot, and it was one of the things I'm going to be developing when I get back from Japan. A lot of stuff has been put on hold for the last 3 months, just because my wife and I were really trying to enjoy being present here in Japan. And so it's been amazing. But I would say, yes, one thing that we could do is just setting up an automated process for whenever a lead comes in, whenever we get like a broker, an underwriting package. We have in the past attempted to get to a point where I've got the assistant entering in the numbers automatically into a spreadsheet that's ours, right? And there's a lot of things that you can do to train someone to look at things like this so that it's easier for you to go in and instead of doing all of the legwork of trying to, put all the numbers in and identify like what the market rents are, you can record videos, right? And train someone so that once you do get the marketing package from a broker or something comes in automatically, that you can do that. When it comes to actual off market deals, I haven't thought through a way of actually getting, having them call brokers, but I know that there is a way to do this, especially if you're good with like the CRMs that that you have. I'm sure there's a way to automate some of this thing. But to be honest with you, I get a lot of my deals from brokers that just send me off-market deals ahead of time. And so I haven't had a way, if you're talking about like cold contact, like just reaching out to brokers that you don't know, I haven't set up a process for that. I haven't, because it still starts at a human level, and you only want to start to automate things because, people can pick up on stuff, whether when it's automated,
whether it's robotic or not.
Yes. AI is making it a little bit more difficult for people to detect that. So there may be a way to get that in, but right now, it's just, for me, it hasn't been part of a necessary work function. So I haven't been focusing on that. But if you have a process, or if anyone out there is doing that, like finding a way to get off-market leads, and you follow some sort of process, whether it's just a general approach or you have an idea, I can tell you that everything can be automated, everything in this day and age. So it just takes a matter of having the knowledge of what it is that you want to automate, and just putting the right tools in place to actually make it happen. So just want to get that clear for you and your audience, that anything can be automated. You just have to ask the right questions.
I love that. Derek, also, I do want to talk a little bit right now, because I gave up on Active Campaign. My ClickFunnels account, I don't have to pay 2,000-3,000. Active
Yeah.
Campaign, I was paying 1,800. I have picked up Go High Level. And that is the one that lots of people are going towards, which is, are you familiar with that a little bit? Or
I am, yeah. So we're that's another thing that we're doing here in Japan is my wife's business. She as a practicing physician through virtual, she does virtual consults. Her mentors are also using a high level template. And so we are using that also. So we're starting to bring all of her active campaign contacts into that. And I'm going to be messing around with that too to set up the automations and everything in there. So yes, 100%.
Beautiful. Okay, no, that's very exciting. Very exciting. I know it costs X amount of money. I bought the SaaS program. So if you want just the account, sub account, because you'll be kind of developing it or like that, I'd love to give it to you for free, because I'm paying
that'd be great.
Anyway on the top.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'll definitely connect with you on that, and maybe I can help build something out on the real estate side. But yeah, I think that the social media is one thing. Social media and CRM and tracking of your people and phone calls and texts and messages and funnels. That's all one thing. But what about project sprints? Like if you want to do a project, or what about underwriting, or what about, my systems go it's even higher than the high level, because you can use it to set visions. You can use it to create your quarterly rocks. It's everything that has to do with your actual business, is what I'm looking to set up in Notion. Right now we use Asana, and we use just manual notes for our daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly goals that we set up for our business and ourselves. But I'm looking to use Notion as something that is an all-in-one task tracker and project planner. Because you can't use high level if you're producing a podcast, right? Like there's nothing really that you can do there to track all of the work.
Not yet. So, I think it's you could do the preparation and all. I don't know if even AI is able to go high level yet. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I'm sure eventually they will. I know that they will eventually, because that's going everywhere. And if they don't, they're going to get left behind, because there will be a company that does provide it. But I will say that I'm looking for helping people to create systems and processes from the very high level, the extremely high level, which is okay, what are our goals? What's the visibility? What does a dashboard look like? How are you going to asset manage? You can't do asset management inside of high level. High level is mainly, to me, a marketing and a CRM tool. And there's much more to business than just CRMs and marketing. And so that's why I'm focused on automations with Calendly and setting up availability, and using your VA to give them a general idea of what your schedule needs to look like each day. And part of their job function is to go in and make sure that all of your schedules and your workflow meets that, so that they're plugged in too if you need to have them do something for you. And I've got my virtual assistant getting read-only access on all of our bank accounts, so that he can use that information to put into our spreadsheet. To reconcile things. So there's a lot of things that you guys can do, especially online. And when you have things online and you have a powerful tool like Zapier or Google Sheets, or Notion or Asana or anything, whatever it is that you're using, you'd be surprised what you can automate, right? And make things easier, especially if you add AI in the step in between.
I love that. Love that. Oh my gosh, this is really taking us to the cutting edge, and it's taking us to and everybody listening to us and all, we need to get on the ship. That's what I feel. Times the ship is leaving. We'll be left behind if we don't use these techniques to make our job easy, efficient, more productive, and with less money, because it's all cost savings. Because any automation you're able to do, you're saving
100%. Let me ask you too, Vinney, when you, because you just mentioned to me before we hit record that you've been on a couple of trips this year. I know for a fact that even though you've been out and about and you probably, cleared out your calendar so you're not taking calls with people, I know that there must have been some points in time where you had to send an email or had to do a text or had to take care of something with your properties, or maybe you're at a
Oh,
level where your
that's a
employees are
good
doing
point.
everything.
Yeah, no,
Um,
real. What we have done, Derek, if I may hit that right away, is that we have outside third party companies who are managing it now. So we used to manage, I had 158 people on my payroll, every 2 weeks payroll, for last 14 years or so, right? But now, since we have sold so much at the peak, we have very large properties now, 60 million, 50 million, 30 million, 80 million, whatever it is. So those are big enough and the revenues are huge enough that we could work with Greystone. They are managing my Houston property. Bell Partners, they are managing my other properties in Austin and in Florida. Then Ram Partners, who are managing my property in Tennessee. And then like that. So that's why I could get away without sending emails.
That's good. No, that's really good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have property managers also, but I think for like on our end, we have to watch the financials coming in from these third party property managers. That's
Mhm.
because that's just where we are right now in our business at this point.
Sure.
And so we want to be hands on because we run all of our properties. So we have,
Totally.
almost
Totally. That's how
450,
I did it
500.
for many, many years. And you have
Exactly.
to be in the thick and thin. But you know what really excites me, which I was not doing it and didn't really do it, automations, which you're
Yeah.
doing it. And I love that.
Mhm.
And lots of, budding investors, they could use your services. I'm telling you, I hope you're thinking about putting it in some packet so that, you could offer it to them, duplicate it. Now, one thing I like automations in Go High Level is that you can duplicate it right away.
Mhm.
Everything is maybe outside. There must be some programs too where you could
Yes.
run the system and then duplicate, or no? No.
Yes, well, there is. I mean, I am thinking about setting up a service to do this. Although, as with entrepreneurs and people in general have to be very careful about how they spend their time and what they're going to
Yes.
do, because with the consulting business, it goes against what I had before as, a time equals money equation, and trying to remove myself from that. Of course, that there's exceptions to that, and I might want to do this because I'm so passionate about it. But um,
Yeah.
because everyone has existing systems that are very different. Um, I That's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about Notion, is because Notion, you can create templates and send that out and use those templates for other people to create. But the
Ah,
automations are very, very like, it's a personal thing, because everyone's business is different and they're focusing on different things and they have different ways to think about things.
so
The
true.
approach that I would like to have is to work with clients or work with people one to one, to sit down and say, okay, what is it that you need to automate? Like, where are your
Love
pain
it.
points? Where are your
Love it.
bottlenecks? And
Yes. Yes.
inside that, that's when you start to build a system up so that you don't need to have me to help build it and expand on it. What I want to do is I want to try to educate people on how to set these automations up, because I'll be honest, things are changing all the time. Like,
Mhm.
AI is going to really change this industry a lot, because I mean, it's very obvious that it's going to be a very powerful thing.
Sure.
But Zapier has always been
Mhm.
around. There's Make.io. There's a whole bunch of different stuff out there that you can use to automate your system. So it just depends on, what is you're trying to do. There's a good
Mhm.
tool for that job. And then just because you're doing it now doesn't mean that you're going to be doing it again in the next
Mhm.
couple of years, because there may be a better tool that can help replace all of
Sure.
that. But the idea is as soon as you get a process functioning and automated, eventually you'll be able to bring in an assistant or bring in a consultant to say, yeah, you have this old system that's running. Here's a new product that can do this and more. And then
Yeah.
it's easy to replicate that in the new system because you have an
Sure.
existing one going, right? So um, I just try to encourage people to think in terms of systems, because systems
Mhm.
is going to save you time and energy and effort, and get it done more automatically with
Mhm.
more reliability, and get it done much faster. And it also allows you, if something doesn't work out with one of your personnel, right, with one of
Mhm.
your assistants, then it's very easy for you to find a replacement for that, to do that work if you have good
You said
systems.
that. I'm so glad you mentioned it, because a lot of times entrepreneurs who take virtual assistants, they are always worried what will happen
Yeah.
if they leave today, or
Yes.
are they doing the job that you want to do? But I think with your systematic way, you are empowering them, to do their job more efficiently. They can get a lot more done, and then also there is a check and balance. See, a lot of time
Yes.
I read somewhere, I may be wrong, I'm recording this, that some VAs have three jobs. Somebody told me. They said, they're on three payrolls. What?
Yeah. That's
Oh my
right.
gosh,
Yep. And they're spreading their time out thin, and they're also like, they may be charging you time when they're working on other people's projects, because there's no way for you to really know that, even with a
Oh,
screen capture.
yeah.
If you're like, you have to be looking at the screen capture all the time, and that takes foresight and effort to set up. So, just another thing I'll say too, Vinny, is I'm using Descript to do our video editing for our podcasts. Have you heard
Ah,
of Descript before?
no,
Oh,
Descript.
good, good. Okay, so
Okay.
Descript is great because what it is it's a how most video editing is timeline based. It's like,
Yep, yep.
you open it up and you have to, like, in order to remove all the ums and the ahs and the
Yes,
like from the
yes.
podcast, you have to go to that point in time and select as soon as the person's mouth starts moving. You select that point in time, and then you go
Ah,
forward like hundredths of a second, right, to remove it, and then you click that, and then you remove that time section, right? Well,
right.
Descript is AI powered because it creates a transcript of the conversation of the
Ah,
video, and then you can highlight the words, and it will
hmm.
extract the words from the video. It'll also remove all the ums and the you knows, because
Oh my
instead of it being
God.
timeline based, it's based on the transcript. And so where it finds the ums and the you knows in the transcript, it knows the timestamps that those start, and so it'll just eliminate those. It'll just remove it. And
Oh,
so
my-
we love this service. It changed. My virtual assistant was spending an entire day doing all the production. He would go in and put the intro, the outro, for the video, and then get all the social media assets ready, and then get ready to pre-post on YouTube, pre-post on Buzzsprout, and all those places, right? Put the description together, all of that. Now we have a system where it takes him 3 hours to do one podcast, because we talked about this. We're like, how can I help you? And when you
Hmm.
do the math, it's like Descript costs, $400 a year or something small
Mhm,
like that.
mhm.
And his time, if you do the math on saying, okay, we have 50 podcasts that we do a year, or 100 podcasts a year that we do, right? And if
Yeah.
he's spending a whole day on one
Wow.
podcast per year, that's a lot of time. That's like 3,000 hours or something, right? So if we can
Sure.
cut that back from 3,000 hours down to even 1,000 or 800 hours, right? Just do
Yeah.
the math on how much it costs your VA to do the work, like,
Yeah.
multiply by 6 or 7 or $8 per hour or whatever. And you can see
Yeah.
that you're very easily making money by implementing these systems, right? For that. Um,
Exactly.
so that's
Mhm.
that's one example. And then the last thing I'll say, I know that if we're running out of time, let me know.
Yeah.
But the last
No
thing that
problem.
I'll say is that with working with virtual assistants and empowering them with the ability to use tools and think about how to automate alongside of you, that there's
Yeah.
a creativity aspect. But I am also tracking in like KPIs for my assistant. So his base rate is $6 per hour, and his
I
bonus is 2 per hour. So if he meets
ah
all of his KPIs, then he gets $8 an hour, which is a great salary for them at a
sure.
full time, at 40 hours per week. So
Sure.
those KPIs are, responding to LinkedIn posts. They are getting social media posts out, producing podcasts, completing all things on time. And
Mm.
so based on the number of things that he completes each week or each
Mhm.
pay period, I have a little spreadsheet that I just check off each month, right? Or each week,
Mm.
each pay period, that we sit down and review every couple of weeks when we're getting ready to pay him.
Mhm.
So he can see what is his performance and how is he performing in real time to the KPIs. And so he's motivated to get that extra $2 an hour, right? So that he's actually completing the things that are reasonable that we set together, right? Like, is it
Excellent.
reasonable for you to complete 4 podcasts productions ahead of time this week. Is that reasonable given your workload? And so we have that discussion and set those dates on the calendar every time, we meet. And so I meet with my VA 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. And those are the things that we talk about, is what can we automate? And it's not long. It takes us, 15, 30 minutes to 15 to half an hour every time we meet. But it's super important for me to be able to see where our assistants are in a team meeting, and what we can do to automate and make their job easier over time and more exciting for them.
Yeah, for sure. Because more empowering and more exciting we can make. And it all boils down to, again, is, how satisfied and how much pleasure they're getting, in becoming a team member and all. Yeah. No, I'm so glad to have you on the podcast and everything. And I know a lot of people can learn from you, Derek. And I'm so impressed, when you joined the academy and, you're doing great wonders and systematically skinning the cat and skinning. So how can people reach you? And then when would you have the systems ready? Because
good question.
Empower people. Yeah.
Yes, of course. So, right now, like I do, one like small, 1 hour coaching calls as well to help point you in the right direction and start to to talk through what tools I would use to start building an automation, and then maybe even build it for, build up like how I would approach building it. If there's a big problem, right, in your business, that can be repeated. And sometimes there's awareness there, Vinney, like people don't even know that they have a problem. I would say, because we're trying to move over to Notion and do all of that, and we're in Japan for the next month, I would say that like sometime in Q3 this year that's one of our sprint goals, is to be able to produce this template, and then also an offering or landing page for people to come in and find out more about what we do. We already did one. We did a boot camp already, and got a ton of great feedback there on everything that we did with our systems. So we're building a course for that also in Q3. So a course will come out. But anyway, for the people that want to reach out,
I love I love it. Yeah.
The people
the company's name, and they can reach you at what level. And love to have your bio also, if you don't mind sending it, so that, my VAs can put that all together, right?
That sounds good.
And I didn't do much big introduction. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And so, my website is elevateequity.org. But people can find me just on social media. Just hit me on LinkedIn. That's usually the best place to find me. And we can have the conversation from there on LinkedIn. Or you can email me at derek@elevateequity.org. So that's a .org and not a .com. And just make sure there's 2 E's in Elevate Equity when you send it off. And Derek, DEREK.
Please, and also look at the links below, because we'll be putting all the links, to Derek Clifford's and Sophie. I remember your lovely wife. How we got started right here in the RIA meeting with Bo Eckstein. I remember.
That's right.
Many years back. How many years? 4 or 5 years back.
4 or 5 years. But that's just a testament, Vinney, because I think that's when we started also. And, going from just doing single family homes to now almost 500 units, and even, being less active this year, right? Because of the uncertainty in the real estate, just for my investors, and picking stuff up a little bit later on in Q4, Q1, still like, your conservatism and everything that you've done in your academy has helped enable all of that. So really appreciate everything you do for all the students.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, I really do. I think, you're a sure winner. I look at Dylan Marma and Mike and you and Gar. All these students coming out.
Amazing.
You guys have just crushed it. I'm missing a lot of names. Jay, so many names, right?
There's so many. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And testimonials and all. I think maybe Lewis might be reaching out to you about testimonial also. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks so much again. And, when you are back here, let's meet up. I don't know where you might be. Austin? You were in Austin.
Yeah, we're in Austin, but we have a lot of reasons to come to California. So if we do, I definitely want to connect again. We got to do something.
Come over. You and Sophie should come over to our place, and we'll have dinner or lunch. And,
we would love it.
Yeah. We'd love
We would
that.
love that.
Love that.
Yeah, perfect. And I'll
Thank
connect with you on the high level, and also,
Yes,
I'll send you some updates when I get the Notion
sure.
templates and SOPs automated and finalized. Just because
Okay.
every person's business is different, so I
Yes.
really think that it starts with talking about like what we can automate first, and then what it sounds like the pinch points are. So that's why automations are very, very. It's an intimate subject, right? Because you know one thing that's valuable to one person may not be valuable to another. So there's a lot of ways to automate because they're custom. So I think that that's always the best place to start is with,
I
one-to-one call.
love it. I love it. I think,
Yeah.
again, I always believe automations and systematic way, you could really have more free time to spend with the family. Not only that, you are saving money, definitely. You're
Yes.
being more efficient. You'll have better communication with all parts of your businesses and getting job done and more pleasure and more delightful, more vacations.
Yes. Yes, you're more vacations and it's more reliable because if someone leaves, right, you have an automation and an SOP already doing the job. So
Totally.
it's good. It's
I
it's a
love
it's
it.
a very
I
good way
love
to
it.
go. And I think people need to think
Yeah.
about it seriously and they don't most of the time. So yeah.
Totally. No, thanks for hanging out with me, really, Derek.
Of
You're amazing.
course, it's my pleasure.
It's such a pleasure. And, I know we love Japan. Our whole family went 4 years back, I think, if I remember, 4 or 5 years back. We loved
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, I came back from there. My family did too, that it's a different world. People
It
are so
really is.
polite and they are
It really is.
so honest, and I thought what I picked up was they were so engrossed in what was every job what they were doing. They wanted to do the best possible. Somehow that stuck with me. And they
It,
party a lot
it
too in the evenings. And I remember Neil and Monica taking us to this 12 o'clock at night, and there was this whole concert going on. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they're very, very festive. Like they work really hard and they play extremely hard. And one of the things when we get back is I definitely want to summarize some of the amazing things that we learned from our 3 months in Japan.
wow,
And there's so much, and it's beautiful
wow.
here. It really is, and people are so nice. And then the exchange rate, Vinny, is incredible right now. It's
What is
you know,
it?
it's
What is it?
it's it's 140 yen to $1.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So going out to eat and everything is like doesn't cost more than $10 a person, and it's fantastic food. That's another reason why we love Japan is this
Oh my
food.
gosh.
It really
My
is
wife,
amazing.
Kanchan, Kanchan and I, we just returned from Portugal last week, and
Yep.
we ate sea bass, half
Yes.
cooked, grilled, and two sides for 22 euros in
Yes, that's
Portugal.
right.
I couldn't
Yep.
believe it.
Yep.
I said,
Yeah.
what? So much food for $20? Where can you get it? It was
I
just
loved
like,
Portugal. Yeah, Portugal
did
was
you?
last year. We spent like a month and a half in Portugal actually last year.
Oh,
So I know
Porto,
exactly.
Lisbon, all those
Yes.
places. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Yep.
Oh, we loved it.
So it's
Loved
it's
it.
beautiful. One last thing, I want to show you the
Yeah,
view that
please,
happens
please.
if you are a digital
Oh,
nomad. You
look
can
at
see this
this.
is
Oh,
Sapporo. This is Sapporo,
oh,
Japan.
Sapporo. Oh,
Yeah,
hold on. Sapporo, the beer.
it
Sapporo beer.
is. It is. Yeah, this is where they brew it.
Oh,
So here is an outside view.
oh, how beautiful. Look at that.
The mountains. The sun's out today, so it's really great.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How nice. Look at that. Hey guys,
Anyway,
everybody watching, listening to us on the YouTube channel and all, please subscribe to brother Derek Clifford's, podcast, first of all, and also his YouTube channel and everything. You learned so much about multifamily syndications. And this is just a system person. I mean, I feel like you really have a big authority because the way you think and how you plan, and I've seen some of your systems, it's just mind boggling. So, I'm
thank you
so
very
happy.
much. I'm
No,
really
no.
excited to put a course together to help people with some of the basics. Because
Yeah,
sometimes another thing too, Vinny, is that people don't even know what they can automate, and so
yeah,
that's the problem, right? So I'm going to
yeah.
be putting together something that will make it very easy for people to do that for very cheap. And so I just have to get a good quality camera and microphone back in the States. And then, we'll be able to shoot some video once we're there.
I love it. I love it.
So,
If you're coming here, I've got 4K camera here, by the way,
Oh, that's awesome.
in my office.
I appreciate that. That'd be great.
Yeah. You're welcome to use
Awesome.
it, brother. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek. And you take care in Japan. And thanks for hanging out again. God bless
Absolutely.
you. And we'll talk
You
again
too.
soon. Huh?
Sounds good. Enjoy that amazing weather, Vinney.
I know it's really
everyone.
nice outside today. Really nice.
It is. Enjoy.
Say, give
All right,
my
we'll
love
talk.
to Sophie. Give my love to her. Thank you so
Will
much.
do.
Yeah.
Will do.
Huh?
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Vinney.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.